So our final step is to create an intersection. One caveat is you want to do this intersection after you do your layer of choice, add fields, calculate the fields, and union with the civic center boundary, and then we would, in theory, do all 4 layer suitability intersections at once, but I'm demoing this in class tomorrow, so I want to just make sure we have a video, so I'm just going to do these 3. So what we're going to do is we need, right now they're in individual data frames, we need them in one, so let's drag them, which will copy them to the composite. And so we'll want the civic floodplain union, the parcels FAR union, and the census blocks. Now you may be wondering and say, well, you didn't union the census blocks. Well, let's turn these layers off a second. As you can see, we don't need to create geometry like we did in the floodplain where there was no floodplain. The census blocks cover the entire civic center. So just wanted to explain that. Go to geoprocessing up at the top, and we're going to now intersect. And what we're going to do is we're putting our input features in. And we will be using the civic floodplain. We will be using the FAR, parcels FAR union, and the census blocks. We will want to designate where we're putting this. And again, I'm going to put this in my process GIS data files, and I'm going to call it Suitability Intersection. Just making sure this is a feature class. Save. Making sure that's that .shp at the end. We're going to join all attributes. You can leave this blank. We're going to leave this with input and hit OK. Now it's going to take a little bit to run, a couple seconds to a couple minutes. And essentially what this is doing is it's creating one set of geometry split up into all the pieces, and in the attribute table we will see all the fields from all 3 layers I am intersecting right now. Let's turn off all 3 individual layers. Let's open the Suitability Intersection attribute table. Let's add a field one last time, and then we're going to call this total score, or you can call it composite score. Remember, we have decimal places, so let's use double. Hit OK. Now if we scroll all the way to the end, we have total score. Now we're going to right click on this, and we're now going to add up the 3 layers that I intersected, and so we're going to look for those T-scores. Now when you do intersections, it may change some of the headings because you can't have T-score S1, T-score S1, T-score S1, so they'll add or subtract things from it, but we're essentially needing 3 T-scores. So we're going to scroll through, and here is our first one. Double click, hit the plus button over here, and then we're going to look for the next T-score. We want the ones with the S1. The first one didn't, but this one has an S1. Hit plus, and then we want the, be careful, you don't want to hit the T-score S2 underscore 1 because that technically is for the second table that was created in Microsoft Word. And we're going to scroll on down till we hit that last T-score S1. And so we now have the T-score from our environmental layer, the T-score from our land use transportation layer, and a T-score from our social layer. And once you complete your layer data and union it, you can then just add it here at the end in the same manner. Hit OK. It's calculating those variables, and so now we end up with scores in the range of 2. Yours will probably start anywhere from 1 depending how you weight them, and can at a maximum go all the way up to 12. So that's the range you're going to be looking for, but now we have these range. So what we're going to do is we'll close this attribute table, we're going to drag this below the boundary, and we're going to do one last symbology change. Double click. We're going to go to quantities. We are going to go to our total score, which is normalized, and we want 3 categories. So scores from 0 to 3.5 are least suitable. Scores from 3.5, a little over 3.5 to 5.5 are somewhat suitable or medium suitability, and then the green at 5.5 to 7.25 are high suitability. So we hit apply and hit OK, and we now have our suitability map that we can discuss what those variables are and help us make decisions. And in this case, I picked the first table of where infill development should happen, particularly looking at elderly populations and aging in place. Thank you.